Welcome back with another episode of Rethink Real Estate. Today, I'm going to go over just some thoughts as we dive into the business planning side of things. And it's more around the predictability of your business. And it's more around your general mindset to what real estate is and what you're searching for within it. Sounds a little philosophical, but I think that searching for consistency in an inconsistent business is one thing I say a few times in this episode. Thanks so much. Welcome to Rethink Real Estate. My name is Ben Brady, and this is a real estate podcast aimed to deliver sales strategies, marketing tips, and business insights from industry experts and myself to build a listing-focused business for the future. Let's get into it. Well, business planning has been a hot topic that is coming up obviously with the December month and coming into January. Personally, I like doing my planning at the moment, and we've made a bit of a change in this is in January. I've often found that one of the things that, I don't know if it's me or if other people experience this as well, but it's like doing an important meeting on a Friday that then things need to be executed on. If you're not working the weekend, Monday comes around and you've forgotten the execution points and what need to actually happen. So I'm taking that same tact with this year's planning. I'm actually going to be doing it in January with the whole team. We've got a week blocked out where we're going to be doing all of our planning and everything along those lines to really provoke and kick everybody back into play for the year itself and getting them really clear around what our focuses are. Now, that being said is that one of the things that I'm constantly talking to people at the moment about in their planning process, the first topic is always GCI. How much do we want to do? How many deals is that? And going through the numbers. And it led me to sort of just have a little bit of a reflection point. And hopefully, this isn't too philosophical and strange or whatever it is, but I thought I'd just throw it out there. It's one of those things where the problem that I think where real estate agents struggle in a commission-only based business is that they are searching for consistency when consistency really never exists in this business. And I think that was really one of the identifying things that I've been through with people over the last quarter of this year. A lot of agents are struggling at the moment because of the lower transaction count, or they've got a lot of listings that aren't moving, and they just haven't had the end of the year that they ultimately would have hoped. The beginning of the year was okay. The end of the year has not been that way. And the thing that I think maybe I don't understand as much as the general person is that I've only ever known real estate. I've only ever known a commissional-based business. I've only ever known performance to be then be paid. And I also have understood that you go through the highs and you go through the lows. And it's getting through those low periods of time at the hope that the high will come next I've kind of gotten used to that roller coaster. So it's probably unfair of me to be frustrated with agents when they're searching for consistency when consistency doesn't exist. And it's one of the things that I've definitely been speaking to people about is this the right industry for you? Because the first thing that we go through and we do when it goes through and we do the business planning is that we go through and ask like, okay, how much do you want to make minus everything that it's going to cost? Okay, then how many deals do you have to do? We reverse engineer it. But then what we do at that point, because I really don't like it in any of the budgeting or anything like that exists, is that, okay, you're going to make $20,000 a month. It's like, no, it's never going to work that way. You've got to go through and put the seasonality of what it looks like. Go through and have a look at the cyclical nature of what your business is for the last year, for the last 2 years, for the last 3 years, for the last 5 years. What months have you performed better and what months have you performed worse? And see if there's any commonality in the pattern. See if there's any pattern recognition that then you can actually go back and project that these times are typically better and these times are typically worse. Now, it's never going to be 100% accurate because it goes based on the effort that you're putting into it, but it also goes based on when people are reaching out to you. If you run a cold business and you're prospecting, there's an element of control that you can have there. There's no question about it, but it's a delayed control. Like if you need money now, you're 90 days away from probably a paycheck if you're prospecting hard within the first 30-day cycle. So it's one of those things that I think that we need to look at, and we need to continue to remind ourselves that, are we at this constant frustration? Do we have constant anxiety because we're searching for consistency in a business that is not consistent? I think that's one of the first reflection points that we need to go through. The second part of that is then having a look and seeing if there is a trend, seeing if there is a pattern to your business. Go back through all of the months, what you made in each one of those months over the last, if you've not been in the industry very long, maybe you can follow the trend line of what your market has done. Now, you might have to go back through pre-COVID numbers, because I think we are leaning back into a normalized marketplace of pre-COVID inventory levels and everything. I think the beginning of next year, we will see that sort of definitely trend occur. Again, don't get me wrong, I have no idea. There's so many different factors in all of this. It could be one of the markets where we're back off to the races again. But I think that trying to get an understanding, it might not be that you're searching for consistency in an inconsistent industry. It might also be that you're searching for understanding what's going to happen or predicting or seeing the future play out. Having an unknown is always scary. There's no question about it. That is why, yes, there are a lot of realtors in the country, but I would go as far as to say that there's no more than 20% of all of those people that hold licenses that do this as a full-time job, okay? Because that level of consistency and that predictability of a traditional 9-to-5 job or getting a wage or whatever that looks like is far more appealing to people than ultimately the windfalls that we can have in real estate. There's no way I would trade in consistency for the opportunity to make as much as possible or the windfalls that come in with this business. I think that's just part of the process. And I've gotten really good, and maybe I've just gotten used to riding the wave down, but then also getting ready for the wave up again and understanding what actions get me there when I am on the way down, and understanding that what is the average time that I spend down as well, because you can map a lot of this out. Now, there is anomalies. There are years, and I think we've all been, our equilibrium, so to speak, have been thrown off because of COVID, because it just absolutely changed things entirely. We didn't have cyclical markets then. The desert is a great example of that. In the desert marketplaces right now, they're coming into season. And in essence is that previously they didn't have cyclical marketplaces anymore, okay? Or sorry, prior to COVID, they did. During COVID and those years that followed didn't. But this year, their season has not been as big a selling season as what they would hope. And that might be because it is an election year and where it falls for them in their market dynamics and everything along those lines, all the things that are playing effect into having, just a really strange market at this point. So again, just reflect. Are you searching for consistency in an inconsistent business? If it's predictability that you need, go back through and see if there is a trend, see if there is a pattern, okay? And if you haven't been in the industry long enough, maybe look at the cyclical nature of the market over the last couple of years and also pre-COVID as well, okay, to see what is the ups and downs, list to sale ratio, when there's more property coming on the market, when there's more property selling. Look at the ratio of list to sale ratio, okay, as well. Because prior to COVID, we didn't have these 100% or 95% list to sale ratios either. Part of my job on a daily basis is talking people off the cliff that the fact that, hey, it is okay not to get every kick in the football game. You do not sell everything that you list. Anyway, a few thoughts. Hopefully it helps as we get into the planning stages. Thanks so much. So about 75% of our audience hasn't liked, followed, or subscribed to our podcast. It would mean the world to us, and it would help this podcast more than you know to expand our reach if you were to like, follow, or subscribe on any of the platforms that you're watching or listening on. Thanks again.